Hello, BookTube, and welcome back to your Daily Penguin. This is our tour through my Penguin Classic wall back there, book by book, author by author, and lately theme by theme. We ended out October, which is Victober on BookTube, with some Victorian classics. And for November, we're theming Nonfiction November. Great BookTube event started by Olive at a Book Olive, and I'm sure all of you subscribe to, in which nonfiction is celebrated. And you're encouraged to read more of it if you can. In the last couple of times, we've seen travel writing. First, American colonial travel narratives, and then turn of the 20th century, local color writing. And today, I thought that streak was ending until I thought about it for a second, then realized, no, today is also travel writing. It's just of a completely different kind. This is a volume that joys my heart. I was overjoyed to see it. I probably hauled it on this channel. I probably got it in the mail on this channel, but I was overjoyed to see it, and I have gone back to it many, many times. It's an original anthology from Penguin, and it is from 2018. It's the Penguin Book of Outer Space Exploration, NASA and the incredible story of human spaceflight. And this is in a special Penguin edition that has the a dust jacket. So there's the normal Black Spine Penguin Classic, but we've got a dust jacket over that just in addition. Every once in a while they do this. I think it's lovely. I wish they would do it more often. I'm assuming that they don't, largely for cost reasons. But this is lots of primary documents and primary reflections on the birth of the space age, from Sputnik and the looming legal challenges about whether or not, for instance, the United States would give permission for flyover. Just keep in mind, there had been nothing like it. All of a sudden, the Russians, the Soviet Union, was proposing launching an object into near-Earth orbit that would pass over the United States. And there was a lot, all of this stuff is lost to history now, but there was a lot of wrangling at the time about whether or not that would be acceptable to the United States or to any other country, to have this Russian death weapon floating over your heads. And the United States didn't put up a fuss, and so the Soviet Union and no one else could put up a fuss when America did the same thing. And this follows that story from those very primitive beginnings and the animal slaves who were sacrificed along the way, unknowing, unwilling to volunteer, unable to volunteer for any of these missions, and then humans, and then finally culminating in humans walking on another world, walking on the moon. Incredible. Even now, incredible. It sends chills up my spine. And I have made no secret of the fact on this channel that I have been a NASA geek for a long time. I absolutely love it. I follow it. I've been following all of the incredible footage that has been beaming back to Earth, for instance, from Mars. We have devices that are in low orbit over Mars and have been for years. We have devices that are rolling around on the surface of Mars and have been for years, sending back incredible stuff. The photography, the photos that have come back from the ground rovers on Mars leave no doubt whatsoever that Mars once had standing bodies of water, large ones. There's no doubt whatsoever. You look at these things and you are looking at the walls of the Grand Canyon. You are looking at gradual sedimentation. There's nothing else that could do it. And lots of other stuff too. I follow every detail. I've been following, for instance, this there was a story of a particular compound that's been found that in one of the of Earth's solar system's gas giants, that is typically only the byproduct of organic life. And also there's been a curious discovery of a slight thickening in the electron composition of space outside of the extreme limits of Earth's solar system. Voyager 2 has started to find indications that the hard vacuum of interstellar space may not be quite what we thought it was. And these things are just going and going. NASA is always worried about budget. It's always trying to get things on time and under budget. And even so, its devices, if they aren't damaged, tend to just keep working. And that has led to it's an ongoing adventure. I think it's a little criminal that it's always so underfunded. It's a little bit of I'm of the right generation of Americans to find it a little bit melancholy that the next humans who set foot on the moon almost certainly will not be Americans. That's, I mean, the space exploration junkie inside me is going to be doing cartwheels when that film footage comes back. Because if my heart still flutters at the Apollo footage, which is almost unwatchable, imagine what 21st century footage will be like when the Chinese put somebody on the moon, or India put somebody on the moon. That the space exploration junkie inside me will be doing cartwheels when that happens. But the NASA fan inside me will be a little sad, because America could already have been there. America could have had a functioning base on the moon in the 1980s, maybe even earlier than that, if the will had been there and the money had been there and the vision had been there. The International Space Station has all of the technology that you would need to have a base on the moon, with one major exception which only works in its favor, which is that a base on the moon has the ability to extract raw materials from its surroundings, whereas the space station does not, except sunlight. So all of that is a little bit melancholy, but that's okay. I am so happy. This is the ultimate travel writing, because this is all about humans leaving Earth, slipping the surly bonds of Earth and going to another world, and maybe other worlds beyond that. Utterly amazing. I wish the volume were 3 times as long. I worried when I first read it that a lot of the inclusions in here are probably too insider baseball. They're probably too technical for a lot of general interest readers. But then again, I don't know how many general interest readers would want to read this. I think this was made for NASA geeks like me. And I appreciate that. So that is your Penguin for today. If you are in the position to care about such things, a lot of people don't. The typical knee-jerk refrain that comes up whenever space exploration is mentioned on social media, and before that in public forums. And by knee-jerk, I mean just that, because it's usually not thought out at all. It's usually just the first thing that someone says as a response, whether they care or not, whether they've thought about it or not, whether they're invested socially or not. The very first knee-jerk reaction that this subject tends to evoke is, couldn't you pour that money into poor cities? Couldn't you alleviate hunger with that money? And so there are bound to be a large number of you that don't care at all. But if you do care about that sort of thing, then this is a Penguin volume that you should have, because this is the documentary history of the very beginning. And that is it. That is your Penguin Classic for today for nonfiction penguins. I don't think we're going to be able to continue with travel narratives all that much longer. I can't have that many more of them. But one way or another, we shall see. I'll wrap this up for now, and I'll be back. Thank you, BookTube.